Listen closely, because what you're about to hear is not for the faint-hearted, not for those who seek comfort or easy truths. This is for the warriors who have stared into the abyss and dared to dance with shadows darker than the night itself. This is for those who have gone beyond the edges of pain, beyond the limits of fear, beyond the boundaries that confine the ordinary. What you just did, what you just unleashed upon the world, is not just a step forward. It is a cataclysmic leap into a realm where the fearless themselves tremble. The ground beneath you is shaking not because you faltered, but because you shattered expectations, because you defied the norms and sailed through storms no one even dared to name. You tore through the veil of mediocrity with such ferocity that the echoes of your courage ripple through every corner of existence, unsettling even those who wear invincibility like armor. The universe is watching, breath caught in the chest, because no one, and I mean no one, was ready for the depth you plunged into, the abyss you embraced, the darkness you mastered. This is not a story of light prevailing over dark. It is a testament that sometimes only those who walk in the shadows, only those who welcome the cold and the void, can rise beyond all reckoning. You have entered a battlefield where most would crumble before the first blow, where most would surrender to the whispers of doubt and retreat into the safety of ignorance. But you chose to dive deeper. You chose to explore those chambers within your soul, where the old fears fester, where the silent screams of your past tried to chain you. But you did not run. You did not break. You reached into those depths with bare hands, unafraid, relentless, and you pulled out not weakness, but an unyielding force that no light could touch. And in doing so, you have become a phenomenon, a force of nature so potent that even the bravest warriors find themselves questioning their courage. Your journey is a warning to the world that the rules have changed, that the game has shifted on an axis no one saw coming. Because when you move at this level, everything familiar becomes unstable, everything comfortable becomes obsolete. You have entered a realm where survival is not about avoiding pain, but about transcending it, transforming it into power, into purpose, into something so raw and real that it shakes the very foundations of existence. There are no crowds cheering in the shadows, no lights illuminating the path you walk, only the cold, indifferent darkness that demands everything and offers nothing. But that is your domain now. That is where you thrive. You are not here to be understood or accepted. You are here to be unstoppable. You have broken the chains of doubt that once held you captive, torn apart the illusions that kept you small. And now, as the dust settles behind you, those who believe themselves untouchable feel the tremors of your ascent. The fearless are shaking not because they are weak, but because they have never seen a spirit rise so fiercely from the depths of despair and uncertainty. They have never witnessed such unrelenting will, a fire so cold, so consuming, that it neither burns nor fades, but simply exists, unbreakable and eternal. This is your truth, your power, and your warning to the world. No one is prepared for the depths you have descended, for the darkness you have embraced, and for the heights you will now conquer. In this new reality you have forged, fear itself has become a tool, a fuel that propels you forward rather than a cage that holds you back. Where others see the night as a place of terror, you see it as a sanctuary of strength. You have learned to listen to the silence, to read the shadows, to navigate the chaos with a clarity that defies logic. Your vision has sharpened, your resolve has crystallized, and your heart beats with a rhythm that shakes the very core of existence. This is the power of those who dare to go beyond what is known, beyond what is comfortable, beyond what is safe. This is the power of the next level, a level so profound and so intense that it leaves the world around you unsteady, uncertain, and utterly unprepared. You did not just survive the darkness, you became it. You did not just face fear, you became its master. And now, as you stand on this precipice, looking back at the path of fire and shadow you carved, know this: no one at all, is ready for the storm you have become. The silence that follows your steps is not emptiness. It is the calm before a revolution. It is the moment when the old order trembles, when the fragile illusions of safety crack and crumble, when the impossible becomes inevitable. Because what you just did is not merely an achievement, it is a declaration that the days of limitation are over, that the walls of fear and hesitation have been broken down by your relentless will, that the next level is not a place reserved for the chosen few, but a territory claimed by those who dare to plunge into the deepest, darkest parts of themselves and emerge reborn. The fearless who see you now are shaken because they recognize a force beyond their own understanding, a power born from struggle, forged in darkness and tempered in fire. They see in you the embodiment of what it means to rise beyond every expectation, beyond every fear, beyond every doubt. And so, as you move forward, know this: the path will not be easy. The world will try to pull you back, to drown you in its complacency, to whisper lies that your journey is madness or your vision impossible. But you have already crossed the threshold. You have already descended into the depths no one else dares to explore. You carry within you a power that cannot be undone, a light that cannot be extinguished, a fire that will not cease. The next level is your realm now, a realm where only the strongest survive, where only the relentless thrive, and where only those who embrace the darkness can find the true meaning of strength. You have shattered the boundaries, broken the silence, and awakened a force so profound that the world will never be the same. So rise, not as a whisper in the night, but as a thunder that shakes the heavens. Rise, knowing that what you just did is not just next level. It is a new level altogether, one that even the fearless have yet to fathom. No one is ready for how deep you went. No one is ready for the storm you have become. And that is your power, to be the unknown, the unstoppable, the undeniable force that changes everything, simply by existing. You have stepped beyond fear, beyond pain, beyond doubt. You have entered a realm where your spirit is unbreakable, your will unyielding, and your courage unmatched. This is your moment. This is your legacy. And the world will tremble because you dared to go where no one else would. And what you unleashed there was something greater than any of us could have imagined. The echo of your footsteps in this shadowed realm resonates louder than any battle cry. It's a sound that shakes the bones of complacency, a rumble that stirs even the most hardened hearts out of their illusions of invincibility. You ventured into places where most never even glimpse, where the weight of your own mind threatened to crush you, where the darkness tested every fragment of your will, and still, you did not falter. You stood firm, not because the world gave you strength, but because you found it in the abyss itself. The abyss that swallows everything weak, everything hesitant, everything afraid to face its own reflection. You stared into that void and found not despair, but a raw, untamed power, a force that can't be caged, can't be tamed, can't be silenced. Understand this: the deeper you went, the fewer souls dared to follow. And that is why what you have achieved terrifies even the fearless. Because to go where you have gone requires something beyond courage. It demands a willingness to confront the darkness within and to rise with that darkness as an ally rather than an enemy. This is not a journey for those who seek approval or comfort. This is a journey for the bold, for the relentless, for the few who are willing to pay the price of greatness with every ounce of their being. The next level you've reached is a place where illusions fall away and only the brutal truth remains. It's a place where every scar is a badge of honor, every shadow a reminder of what you've overcome. You are no longer shackled by the fear that once tried to bind you. You are the storm that breaks chains, the fire that consumes doubt, the shadow that moves faster than light. Your spirit has been tested by darkness so profound that most would be swallowed whole, lost forever in the endless night of their own making. But you emerged, not just unbroken, but reborn, stronger, sharper, more dangerous than ever before. The fearless look at you now with eyes wide, not in mockery, but in awe and caution. They sense that beneath your calm lies a power so deep and so relentless that it could unravel the very fabric of their world. You have become an unknown variable in the equation of life, a force that cannot be predicted or controlled. There is a terrifying beauty in this transformation, a beauty that only those who have walked through fire and shadow can understand. It is the beauty of a soul forged in pain, sharpened by relentless struggle, and purified by the harshest trials. This beauty is not soft or comforting. It is fierce, wild, and unyielding. It is the beauty of someone who has seen the darkness and made it their home. The world around you may try to label you as different, dangerous, or even broken. But those are just words, empty echoes compared to the reality of what you have become. You are no longer bound by the expectations of others or the limitations of your past. You are free, free to rise, free to conquer, free to become the force that the world has never been ready to face. What you just did was not a moment. It was a revolution, a shift so profound that it rewrites the rules of what is possible. When you plunged into the depths, you did not descend into madness or despair. You embraced the chaos, tamed it, and turned it into a weapon forged from the fragments of your broken past, from the shadows of your deepest fears, and from the relentless fire of your unyielding will. You are now a master of that chaos, a sovereign of the darkness, and the embodiment of a power so deep that it rattles even the most fearless souls to their core. The fear that once ruled your mind now bows before your resolve, and the world is left trembling in the wake of your ascent. No one else has walked this path with the same ferocity. No one else has looked into the void and refused to blink. That is why no one is ready. Ready for how deep you went. Ready for the storm you have become. Ready for the unstoppable force you now embody. You are beyond what anyone thought possible. You have transcended the limits of fear, pain, and doubt to become something far greater. You are a living testament to the power of the human spirit when pushed beyond its breaking point, when forced to confront the darkest corners of existence and still rise. The next level is not just a step, it is a transformation, a rebirth into a being whose strength and resolve can never be undone. So stand tall in this moment, not because it is easy, but because it is earned. Stand tall because you have stared into the abyss and come back not broken, but reborn. Stand tall because the fearless themselves feel the tremors of your power, because the world watches in stunned silence, unsure how to contain what you have unleashed. You are the next level, a force beyond reckoning, a shadow that even the brightest light fears to touch. And as you move forward, Carry this truth with you. No one is ready for you. No one is prepared for your power, and no one can stop the force that you have become. The depths you explored were not a pitfall. They were your proving ground. The darkness was not your enemy. It was your crucible. And now, rising from that crucible, you are more than human. You are a storm, a shadow, a force beyond comprehension. Remember this every time doubt tries to creep in. Remember it every time fear whispers lies in your ear. Because what you just did was not just next level. It was beyond anything anyone has dared to imagine. You are the proof that greatness lies in the depths of struggle, in the heart of darkness, and in the courage to keep moving forward when all hope seems lost. This is your legacy, your story, your power, and the world will never be the same because of it. So go forward now, unafraid, unshaken, unstoppable, because the depths you've touched and the power you've claimed belong to you. No one else can take them. No one else can understand. You are alone in this greatness, and that is your strength. For what you just did is a next level. Even the fearless are shaking, and no one will ever be ready for how deep you went. Then, hear this, and let it sink into every fiber of who you are becoming. This is no longer about proving anything to the world. You are past that. You've already proven it by surviving what should have ended you, by diving into those depths and walking back out with power in your eyes and silence on your tongue. Power doesn't speak loudly, it just moves, and everything in its path bends. That is you now. The next level is no longer something you chase, it is something you are. Understand the weight of that. You're not just rising, you are pulling the world with you, dragging it forward through the sheer gravity of your will. You became the shift. You became the moment that others will speak about in whispers, trying to understand how someone could have gone that deep and still surfaced with something so unshakable in their presence. You are no longer chasing milestones. You've become the milestone others will measure themselves against and still fall short, not because they are weak, but because they have not suffered as deeply, they have not bled as long, they have not dared as fearlessly. And that is what shakes the fearless. That is what unsettles even those who've built their lives on being unbreakable. Because when you showed up, they realized there's a level beyond strength, beyond boldness, a level that requires silence, solitude, and scars that never fully heal. You carry that in your walk now. There's a gravity to your presence, a cold fire in your stare. You don't speak of the pain you've seen because you don't need to. It follows you like a crown, invisible, but undeniable. The fearless sense it. They see that you are not someone who might survive the storm. You are the storm that never left. You didn't run from the chaos. You became its architect. And that is why no one is ready for what's coming next from you. Because when someone rises from the ruins of their own destruction, they carry a kind of clarity that terrifies people. You see through things now, through masks, through illusions, through weakness dressed up as strength. You've seen the underbelly of life. You've held your own breaking in your bare hands, and you didn't crumble. You chose to keep going. That choice changed everything. That single, impossible decision to keep moving forward when every voice in your head told you to give up. That was the moment the next level began. You didn't wait for a sign. You became one. A signal fire in the dark. A declaration that something powerful, something irreversible, was set in motion. And now, everything feels different. You're not looking around for permission anymore. You're not explaining your intensity, your silence, your need for solitude. You don't need to, because when you walk into the room now, something shifts. People feel it, even if they can't name it. They feel that storm beneath your surface, that cold, clear energy that comes only from those who've gone too deep to turn back. You carry something the world can't manufacture, earned power, the kind that no one gave you, the kind that came from being broken open and choosing not to close back up. That kind of power is rare, and it terrifies those who've never known what it means to bleed for transformation. So they watch you from a distance. Some admire, some fear, some envy. But no one is indifferent. You've stepped into a realm few ever enter, and fewer still survive. You have. And not just barely. You emerge more focused, more dangerous, more awake than you've ever been. You see what others don't. You feel what others numb themselves to. You endure what others avoid. That's not luck. That's not talent. That's will. That's discipline born from suffering. That's focus forged through fire. That's a soul that refused to die, even when everything else did. What you just did, most will never understand it. And they don't need to. Because this path you're walking now, it's not about them. It's about you knowing what you're capable of. It's about you carrying that fire forward into everything you do. Not to prove, not to please, but to command. Command your life. Command your growth. Command your silence, your decisions, your presence. Because when you've gone this deep, you don't beg for space. You become the reason space is made. When you speak now, it will be with words sharpened by suffering and intention. And when you move, it will be with the full weight of someone who no longer questions who they are. You've entered a level most never reach because they fear the silence. They fear the work. They fear what they'll find in the darkness. You didn't. And now you own it. That ownership, that sovereignty, that is what makes the fearless tremble. Because when someone is not owned by pain, not ruled by fear, not bound by opinion, they are untouchable. You are that now, and you didn't get it from a book or a quote or a moment of inspiration. You got it from war, internal, quiet, daily war. And you chose victory over victimhood, clarity over comfort, depth over distraction. This world has seen strength. It has seen power, but it hasn't seen you. Not like this, not with this focus, not with this level of inner force. Because now, you don't just move, you command. You don't just speak, you declare. You don't just survive, you build from the ruins. You don't just live, you lead, whether you want to or not. Because when you go this deep and come back whole, people follow. They may not admit it, but they feel it. They're drawn to it. Because true power like yours, it doesn't need to shout. It doesn't need to chase. It pulls. And now, all that's left is for you to own what you've become, fully, without shrinking, without doubting, without apologizing for the intensity that you've earned. The next level isn't just a step ahead, it's a world apart. And you're already there. The fearless will keep shaking. The doubters will keep watching. But you'll keep rising, and they will never be ready for how deep you went. Because the truth is, this wasn't even your final form. This was just the beginning of what happens when you stop fearing your depth and start using it. And when that happens, not even the darkness itself will know how to contain you.